Hello learners, welcome to BEDS 001, Week 3, Section 2. We have been doing Overview and Perspectives of Values, which is BEDS 001. We have completed Week 3, Section 1. We began last week with Dimensions of Morality, and in the third week, Section 1, we have discussed who is a morally educated person and also the difference between morality and ethics. Now today, we will move on to Section 2. In today's section, we will discuss different facets of morality. In different facets of morality, we will be discussing caring and judging. What do we mean by caring and what do we mean by judging? So in today's lecture, these are the two subsections we will be dealing with in different facets of morality. Like I said, we have completed who is a morally educated person, and we also have discussed the difference between morality and ethics. Today we are going to discuss different facets of morality, that is the subsection of different facets of morality, which is caring and judging. Morality, as we have indicated above, is a multidimensional and multifaceted concept. There are many issues and concerns involved in this concept. To understand this particular concept of caring, let me illustrate it with an example. It is a true life story. It is a true event. Slotin was a nuclear physicist who was experimenting upon the development of atomic bomb. The experiment required assembling pieces of plutonium. In the experiment, he was gently pushing one piece towards another in order to ensure that their total mass would not be large enough to make a chain reaction. So, Slotin, who was a nuclear physicist, was experimenting upon the development of atomic bomb, and he was doing this experiment, and in order to ensure that their total mass would not be large enough, he was gently pushing one piece towards another. The screwdriver with which he was pushing the pieces slipped, and consequently the pieces of plutonium came too close together. Unfortunately, he was trying to avoid the chain reaction, but because the pieces of plutonium came too close together, the chain reaction started filling the room. He wanted to avoid the chain reaction, but because the screwdriver with which he was pushing the pieces slipped and the pieces of plutonium came too close together, so chain reaction started happening. There were 7 co-workers who were watching the chain reaction on their instruments. So he had 7 co-workers working with him in that particular room where he was trying to avoid chain reaction. But the chain reaction, unfortunately, the chain reaction happened. So what happened? Instantly, without losing a fraction of a second, what did Slotin do? He moved and pulled the pieces of plutonium apart with his bare hands, which was, let me tell you, a very dangerous thing to do. He, without losing a fraction of a second, moved and pulled the pieces of plutonium apart with his bare hands. This act, he knew well, was virtually an act of suicide, for it would have exposed him to the largest dose of radioactivity, and it was like an act of suicide for him. But he did not lose a fraction of a second. He went, pulled the pieces of plutonium apart with his bare hands, and he was exposed to the largest dose of radioactivity. So what happened? Immediately after the incident, Slotin calmly asked his co-workers, we have been told, and we have also we have said that there were 7 co-workers who were working with him. Slotin calmly asked his co-workers to mark their precise position at the time of accident in order that the degree of exposure of each of them to radioactivity could be determined. Having done this and calling for the doctors, Slotin apologized to his colleagues and said what later turned out to be exactly true. He would die and they will survive. So this is what happened. He asked his co-workers and he called the doctors and he asked them where their precise positions were at the time of the accident, so that he would be able to make out the degree of exposure of each of his co-workers to radioactivity, and also calling the doctors for treatment. And not only that, he apologized to his colleagues, and later on what happened was all his co-workers were saved, but he died because of being exposed to radioactivity. So what does this particular incident show us? Let me tell you, this is a true event. And what does this act of Slotin's shows us? An analysis of Slotin's tale displays heroic proportion of morality. Slotin performed the most courageous and moral act of separating the pieces of plutonium with his bare hands. And also because he did this without even losing a fraction of seconds, it saved the life of his co-workers. He did not even think about saving his own life, but then he exposed himself to the largest dose of radioactivity, but in return he saved the lives of his co-workers, because the slightest delay in his action would have caused immense loss of life and property. It was this uncompromising sense that people matter that he showed, an unconditional concern for saving human individual life and welfare at the cost of his own life. In addition to the great concern for human life, he displayed a sharp ability to judge, to size up the situation accurately, and also the courage to act accordingly. So, when we first began discussing this particular section, we said we will be discussing caring and judging. So in this particular event about Slotin, how he saved his co-workers who were caught in the room where chain reaction happened, he showed a concern for his co-workers. He cared for his co-workers. He cared enough so that he took all the necessary precautions, all the necessary steps to save them. He cared enough. He exposed himself to the largest dose of radioactivity, and he cared enough to save his 7 co-workers. So this attitude is called caring. Caring implies reaching out to help others. It also involves a kind of a social psychological understanding. To feel for another is to think of him, of her, and understand his needs as well. Love thy neighbor as thyself expresses this essential meaning of caring. So when we talk about caring for others, it means you are concerned enough, you empathize with the feelings of others, you understand what they are going through, and this understanding expresses the essential meaning of caring. Very relevant saying is love thy neighbor as thyself. All of us love ourselves. So as we love ourselves, we should love our neighbor. So when we love, because every members of the society, as members of the society, as individuals, we love ourselves, we take care of ourselves. So as we take care of ourselves, as we love ourselves, we should also love our neighbor. So this is a caring attitude. According to Carol Gilligan, a famous American psychologist, Carol says there is a strong proponent of care orientation to morality. When you talk about morality, when you talk about care, when you talk about caring for others, there is a certain aspect of morality involved in caring for others. This is what she says. She upholds the ideal of attention and response to needs of others. This perspective involves how to act responsively to protect or help others in need. So when you are concerned for others, when you are caring for others, there is an aspect of morality involved. And when this caring attitude reflects in you by helping others, then it involves what you call acting responsively, acting to protect or help others in need. So there is aspect of morality involved in caring for others. According to Carol, certain conditions in the early childhood, especially in relation with the mother, it has a causal effect on the origin of this way of judging and experiencing the self. Care, when we talk about care, caring for other is a typical female phenomenon, whereas justice typically is a male phenomenon. So that is in some exceptions apart. Male are normally more justice oriented, whereas female are more care oriented. So when Carol talks about the attitude of caring, Carol says that this orientation of caring for other is a causal effect on it affects the children, because if the mother shows caring attitude towards the children, towards the others, the children and people in the household will have this caring attitude of the mother will have such an impact on the children and also in the other members of the family, that they would carry on this aspect of caring in the later part of their life, or in wherever in the current way of life that they are living. And also this attitude will be inculcated in their later relationship, in their later stages of life. And also this caring attitude which they see, which they have absorbed from the mother, will have such a positive impact that they will experience it themselves, and also they will carry out this aspect of caring in their lives also. When we talk about caring, it is quite different from judging. Judging means coming to conclusion, drawing a conclusion. To form, give or have an opinion, or to decide about something or someone, especially after thinking carefully, to express a bad opinion of someone's behavior, often because you think you are better than them. So what do you mean by judging? Judging means coming to a conclusion, drawing a conclusion, making a decision. And it also means to form, to give or have an opinion, or to decide about something or someone, especially after thinking carefully, to express a bad opinion of someone's behavior, often because you think you are better than them. Judging in the care perspective means judging the needs of other people. When you talk about judging in terms of morality aspect, when you talk about judging with concern to morality, you are talking about judging the needs of other people. In the true life event of Slotin's life, we discuss how he saved the lives of his co-workers. So what did he do? He was able to judge the needs of his co-workers. He was able to judge the situation that his co-workers will be exposed to radioactivity because of the chain reaction which was happening in the room. So he was able to judge the situation in that particular room where the chain reaction had happened, and he saved the lives of the others, his co-workers. So he was able to judge the needs of others. He was able to judge the particular situation. When we talk about judging, other than the morality aspect, when we talk about judging someone, you have no right to judge someone because of what she or he looks like, or what his beliefs are, and so on. Like, for example, I may believe in certain lifestyle. I may believe in taking certain cuisine, or I may believe in doing something in my life, in the way I dress, in my lifestyle, in what I eat, or the companion that I keep, or the friends that I keep. But another person does not have the right to judge me because I look a certain way, or I behave in a certain way, or I follow I follow a certain kind of lifestyle different from that particular person. So you have no right to judge someone because of what she or he looks like or believes in. Another aspect of judgment is moral judgment. For example, should I support my party candidate in election even though I know for certain that he is corrupt or incapable for a public office? So this is a moral judgment which I have to face. That is, if one of my candidate or someone I'm very close to is going to stand in an election, if someone is going to participate as a candidate in an election, even though I know very clearly that that person is corrupt or incapable for a public office, there might be certain personal aspects of that candidate that I may not like, personal aspects as well as his lifestyle, or knowing that he is corrupt, he is dishonest, and he is incapable for a public office. Will I support that party candidate because I am close to her or him in an election? Is something that would be a dilemma for me, because I have to, a dilemma of moral judgment will be involved. That is, on one side, that candidate is a person whom I'm very close to, and because I'm very close to that person, there is a dilemma of judgment, being judgmental, because I know that person is corrupt, is incapable for a public office. Will I support him? Will I support her? So this is a moral judgment which I have to face, and it is a judgment which I have to take. There are certain social moral problems where taking moral judgment becomes more complex and requires a more reflective and considered thought. Let me elaborate. For example, there are controversial moral issues like euthanasia, that is mercy killing, abortion, etc. Often the general consensus is, in such cases, is that it is morally bad to take another's life. But would it be bad to kill a person in self-defense or in a situation where the safety and security of the nation is at stake? So moral and value judgment imply reasons, not simply rules like killing is bad. For example, I am a soldier posted in the border of India, my country, and let's say external forces try to cross the border and they start shooting our brave soldiers who are posted in the borders of our country, India. So I shooting back, I protecting the borders of our nation. Is this bad? Because we are protecting our nation, because the security and safety of our nation is at stake. So when we talk about such a situation, we are protecting our nation from our enemies who are shooting at us. So when it comes to such a situation, when we defend our country, when we protect our nation, then the moral and value judgment which simply says that killing is bad does not apply, because we are protecting our country, we are protecting the safety and security of the nation. And also, for example, let's say we are in a situation where I am in a house and a thief comes and he tries to kill me and my family members. I acting in self-defense and also overpowering the thief at the point of, at times I may just make him unconscious, or because I am at a point where I have to defend myself and also the members of the society, I may also in self-defense kill the thief. So in such a situation, moral and value judgment that simply says that killing is bad does not apply, because it is a situation where I am defending myself. It is a situation where I am protecting the members of my family. So in today's lecture, in week 3 section 2, we have discussed caring, we have discussed what is called judging, And this is a section which discusses different facets of morality, caring and judging. In the next class, section 3, which will be the final section of week 3, we will be discussing action. And also we will be discussing different facets of morality. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you.